Hey folks, Curtis Stone here. We are continuing on our series of every state in the US and every province in Canada, reviewing them for potential homestead properties and, taking into consideration the general geography, climate of each state. And we'll look at places to avoid and places you might want to consider. So today we're going to look at the state of Oregon in the United States. So one thing I'll say about Oregon right out of the gate is actually generally quite a tough state because so much of it is just dry wasteland like this. Very similar to Washington, though I'd actually make the case that Washington has more of a region that's desirable up in this northeastern quadrant. Is a fairly nice part of the state. Oregon doesn't have that so much, and what it also lacks is any medium-sized towns in the interior. So when you look at Oregon, you can see the vast majority of its population is concentrated on the west coast here, similar to Washington. But the thing is that's different about Washington is Washington has Spokane as a fairly decent. It's not a big city, but it's a good sized town that if you're in this region and you need to get stuff, you can go down to Spokane. Whereas if you wanted to live up in these regions here in Oregon, where's the other medium sized town you go to? There isn't one really. Bend is a decent sized liberal town. So you might find regions around here that are potential, but so much of out here isn't nice. It's all really open. It's windy. There's wind turbines all over the place. And then you've got these big ag pockets, which I wouldn't suggest living in because it's just all, it's center pivots, it's large scale irrigation. I wouldn't want to live in any of these. And then up in these mountain ranges near to these towns, it's quite barren. So what are you left with? You're kind of left with this area in these national forests, but there's very little of anything in here. Like you could be really in the sticks in these parts, but where do you go to get stuff? That's the challenge here. Is there's just less of that in Oregon than there is in Washington. So what are our no-go zones in Washington? Or in Oregon? Well, it's fairly obvious. It's our big metropolitan cities. This whole strip from Portland to Eugene is all very populated. Now, this Willamette Valley area is quite nice. I've been through here. I have friends down there. Living in these regions wouldn't be so bad. Just don't be off the major highways. But if you had to live in some of these regions, we put these 50-mile generic radius around cities to avoid, but it's not a hard, fast rule. It's not saying don't even consider that because the reality is, this is all fairly rural in here. Oak Ridge, McCready Springs, Cottage Grove, these are all fairly rural areas, and so this isn't so bad. I would say it's more preferable to be down here than it is to be closer to Portland and the city of Vancouver, Washington. Little pro tip for people who don't want to pay a lot of taxes: if you don't want to live in Oregon, you can live in the Vancouver, Washington region and pay less income tax. Or is it less sales tax, and then you pay less income tax in Washington, and then there's no sales tax in Portland. So a little trick: a lot of people live in Vancouver, Washington, and they do all their shopping in Portland. I met a lot of people when I was traveling through there that did that. But I would say this area outside of Eugene actually isn't so bad. Eugene has become quite a woke city. I've spent quite a bit of time there, and it's the same as most cities becoming woke, like my hometown of Kelowna, BC. has become pretty woke. So I guess it's not really anything different. But I would say, these areas here, around here, where you could commute into Eugene aren't so bad. The challenge in Oregon in general, though, is price. The prices are pretty rough. We put as a couple good areas, kind of flagged some of this northwestern quadrant up here, where you've got some smaller towns, but then you could commute to the bigger areas if you needed to. Same down here. If you like the coast and you want to be on the coast, you could commute into Coos Bay and North Bend to get amenities when you needed them. But price is going to be an issue there, as it is for most of Oregon. The most desirable places in Oregon are going to be the most expensive for sure. But then we're still left with this problem of this massive area in Oregon that's quite desolate, and this is what I refer to as BSK. This is the semi-arid desert areas. When we look at the Köppen-Geiger climate classification map, I've mentioned this in many videos, but let me just pull it up here again and just have a quick review. When I refer to BSK, I'm referring to the arid climates. So the arids are the BSH, the BSK, the BWH, the BWK. If you don't know about the Köppen-Geiger climate classification system, just go into Wikipedia and check it out. And there is a really good explanation of how all these break down. We have our 5 categories of tropical, arid, temperate, boreal, and polar areas. Much of Oregon, of course, on the western side is temperate, right? That's your coastal climate regions that are lower elevation, closer to the ocean, and have a lot of overall precipitation in the winter and summer. Though these days in summertime, in the temperate regions all along Washington, Oregon, British Columbia even, are quite dry. You get July and August, you'll get no rain at all. But still, they're overall fairly temperate. But then as you come into the interior here of Oregon, you can see this is all BSK, which is not very nice. BSK is cold desert. So you're still going to get hot and dry in the summer, but it's also going to be super dry in the winter. So just not a lot of precipitation, making it very difficult to grow. Some of these regions in here, where you see DSB, that's actually that can be quite a nice climate in these regions here as far as climate is concerned. But then again, where do you go to get amenities? You're pretty much hitting this, Highway 26, and then you're just going to be heading towards this region down here to get things when you need them. So it means quite a bit of commuting along a windy road. So you definitely want to consider that. And then you get up into some of these greener areas, which are going to be boreal climate, but they're very high elevation, 1,800 meters. That is like 4,000 something feet. So that's quite high. A lot of people in the Oregon region will live along this Hood River Valley. I've met a lot of people in this region over the years, that you can commute into Portland when you need to get things. But again, the challenge with Oregon in general is that call this 65-70% of the state is dry and barren with not a lot of vegetation and not a lot of amenities. Whereas everything seems to be in this region here. But then you have to ask yourself the question, how close do you want to live to Portland, Salem, and Corvallis, and Eugene? I would definitely, if I was going to be close to any of these metropolitan areas, I would side along here and commute into Eugene or Corvallis. And, you could find some neat spots up in here outside of what we've flagged here. I think you might find some good potential properties there. But yeah, that's food for thought with Oregon. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments and questions below. If you like this kind of stuff and you like what I'm doing here, check out the free web class that we have, and there'll be a link to that in this video. Go check it out. There's 3 things I'm going to show you on how you can use Google Earth, which is what we do for all of these property viewings. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how you can use this software to your advantage, and you can save a ton of time looking for your own property. All right, folks, we'll see you in the next one.